Hello and welcome to Life Changing Tuition's Summer School 5 booklet. So today we'll be going through an explanation of how to solve each question. So let's begin with ratio and proportion. Okay, so it takes a social jogger 15 minutes to run 12 kilometers. So how long will it take to run 10 kilometers? So we can write down the information that we know. 12 minutes with 2.5 kilometers. So then 10 kilometers will just be the same scale. So given that 2.5 times by 4 is equal to 10, we can just do 15 times by 4 to find our answer, which is 60 minutes. And that's equivalent to 1 hour. So question 2, cutting material costs £10.20 per metre, so then 10 metres will cost £10.20 times by 10. And that's equal to our answer of £102. Next is question 3. The ratio of men to women on a bus is 5 to 4, so we can write that down. And then if there are 12 women, how many men are there? So then 12 women is equivalent to multiplying by a scale of 3, so it'll be 15. 15 men. Okay, and then 25 large plastic bottles can be recycled to make one fleece jacket, so we can write that down. One fleece jacket. And then 200 bottles, well, we know that 25 multiplied by 8, I believe, yes, multiplied by 8 is equal to 200, so then we do the same to our one fleece jacket, and it's 8 fleece jackets. So also you could do 200 divided by 25, which will give you an answer of 8 as well. So you could do that too, and yeah, that will give you the answer of 8 fleece jackets. Okay, a pile of hay can feed 12 horses for 15 days. So how long would the same pile feed 20 horses? So we know that it's 12 horses and 15 days. So to find the total work done, you can use the column method. 12 multiplied by 15. So 2 times 5 is 0. Carry the 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. And then 2 times 1 is 2. And 1 times 1 is 1. So it's 180. Okay, and then you take your 180 and you divide it by 20, which gives you the answer of 9. So the answer will be 9 days. Okay, now we move on to the next question, which just bear with me because they aren't in order. It's here. Question 6. The ratio of height to width of an old television is 3 by 4. If the height of a television screen was 21 centimeters, find the perimeter. So we can also draw this out to help us visualize, so we know, well, that's not quite 3 by 4, but we can imagine 3, 4, 4, 3. And then we also have the height being 21, so then we have to find the perimeter. So the height is 21, so we are following the same scale of 3 by 4 and then 21 to something. So we're multiplying by 7 here, so we do the same to the other side, and it'll be 28. But then it's asking for the perimeter, so what we do is 28 times 2 plus our 21 times 2, because we're adding up each side. So it's like doing 21 plus 21 plus 28 plus 28. So how we can do this? Well, 28 times 2, we can use the column method. That'll be, well, 8 times 2 is 16, 2 times 2 is 4, so 56, and then 21 times 2 is 42. So we can do 56 plus 42, which will equal to 98. So this will be 98 days. Or not 98 days, 98 centimeters. Okay, question 7. A pile of food can feed 12 rabbits for 15 days. How long could it feed 20 rabbits? This seems very similar to question 5. Yep. Okay, so it's the same method. We do 12. We take out 12 rabbits and multiply by 15 days. So that's like the work. So this is the equivalent of the work of, well, 180 rabbits, you could say. So then you're dividing that into the 20 rabbits, and it's the same answer of 9 days. Okay, question 8. So, below are the ingredients needed to make 16 gingerbread men, and Sam wants to make 24. Work out how much of each ingredient is needed. So, what we can do is find how many of the ingredients are needed to make 1 gingerbread man, and then multiply that back by 24. Or we can do another scale. It could be dividing by 4 and then times it by 6, or anything else. So what we'll do in this case is we'll divide by 2 to get the scale of 8 gingerbread men, and then we'll multiply by 5. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take out 180 grams of flour, and when this is divided by 2, we'll have 60. So what we're writing here is 8 gingerbread men. So 60 grams of flour. 40 divided by 2 will be 20. 110 divided by 2 will be 55. And 30 divided by 2 will be 15. So this is a scale for 8. So now we have to multiply by 3. So when multiplying by 3, what we can do is 60 times 3, which is not 60 there. I've written that wrong. So this will still be the 20, but then this will be 90. Okay, so 90 multiplied by 3 will be 270 grams of flour. For ginger, it will be 60. For butter, it will be on 165. 165. Yep. And for sugar, it will be 90. Oh, no. Sugar, it will be 45. Okay. Question 9. It takes Betty 45 minutes to knit a scarf, so how long will it take to knit 6 scarves? So, how we're going to do this is we are going to take out 45 minutes to knit 1 and simply multiply that by 6. So 45 and then multiply by 6. So 45 times 6, well, we can do this on the column method, or we can do it on the column method. So 5 times 6 is 30, and then 4 times 6 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So the answer is 270. We'll write that here. Question 10. 3 friends follow a recipe for making fruit smoothie. And then it says to use 3 times as many raspberries as blackberries, and also add 2 strawberries. Okay? So Ria is then making a smoothie using 9 blackberries. So how many raspberries does she use? Okay, so we know that 3 times as many raspberries as blackberries. So the scale of raspberries to blackberries will be 3 to 1. So then 9 blackberries will be multiplied by 9, so it should be 27. Then for part B, Amy makes a larger smoothie and she puts 50 pieces of fruit all together. So how many blackberries does she use? Well, we know that it says to add 2 strawberries. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 50 minus 2 to find the scale of raspberries and blackberries that she uses, which is 48. And then we know that for every 3 raspberries, there's 1 blackberry. So 3 plus 1 equals 4. So 48 divided by 4 equals 12. And then what we do with this is we take our 12, and we know that that is that's the scale. So what we've got to do is take our 12, and that's going to be the number of blackberries. So the answer for part B is 12. Then for question 11. For every 3 strawberry jellies in a bag of sweets, there are 4 cherries. So we can write down that information. 3s, there is 4 cherry. If a large bag contains 12 strawberry jellies, so 12s, how many cherry jellies are there? So this is just multiplying by 4, so that will be 16. Okay, question 13. Maya wants to make some purple paint. She knows that she can make purple by mixing red and blue paint in the ratio 4 to 5. So we can note that down, red to blue, 4 to 5. And then A, she has 12 litres of red paint, so how much blue paint will she use? Well, we can just do that and multiply by 3 to get 15 litres. So 15 will be the answer to part A. I just realised that I wrote the answer in the wrong place for the previous question. Okay, let's quickly go back to question 12. Maya draws a plan of her school using a scale of 1 centimetre to 12 metres. On the plan, the garden is 2 centimetres wide, so what's the real width? So what we have to do here, because we know that it's 2 centimetres wide on the plan, we just multiply by 12, and that gives us 24. So the real width will be 24, and you can know your units of meters. Okay, now back to question 13. How much purple paint will that make? So all you've got to do here is your 12 plus 15, which is equal to 27. 27, and then for part C, Elliot needs 36 litres of purple paint, so how much red paint will he need? Well, you take your, you know that 4 plus 5 equals 9. So what you do is you do 36 over 9 equals 4. And then you do your 4 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 16. So then that will be your answer for part C. 14. Bella makes purple paint by mixing blue paint and red paint in the ratio of 4 to 3. How much blue paint is needed to make 21 litres of purple paint? Okay, so what we do with this one is we know the ratio of blue, mixing blue, okay, so blue to red, 4 to 3, and 4 plus 3 is 7. 21 over 7 equals 3. So all we have to do is, because it's asking for blue paint, we do 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. And then 12 will be our answer for 14. Okay, James draws a plan of his school using a scale of 1 centimetre to 6 metres. Okay, we can just remember that. And then on the plan, the playground is 5 centimetres long, so what's the real length of the playground? So we do 5 centimetres and multiply that by 6, so it's equal to 30 metres, because for every 1 centimetre on the plan, there is 6 metres in real life, so 5 centimetres times 6 equals 30 metres. Okay, next we move on to the next section, which will be on page 4. And that is MVR series. Okay, so here we're looking at the shape that comes next. Okay, so question 1. We can see that the shape is rotating 45 degrees anti-clockwise in each time. So we can just expect the same thing. So with that we can rule out B, because the arrow must be on the left side, as well as C, and E. And now we can pick between D and A, and we can see the difference is the length of the arrows here and here. So looking at the shape, we can see that it's D and not A. Okay, question 2. This one's looking at the movement of shapes. So the shapes are quite simply just moving around, it seems. And yes, they are. Yeah. So they're just moving one shape down and they're moving anti-clockwise. So considering that, we can expect the hexagon to be in the bottom right, the kite to be in the top right. So even knowing that, we can cross out A, B. Oh no, we cannot cross out B. So remember, we're looking at having the hexagon. So yeah, the hexagon will be in the bottom right, and the kite will be in the top right. Okay, so looking at that, we know that the answer would be C. Okay, so the answer for question 2 is C. Okay, now we're going to move on to question 3. So this shape is rotating, but the arrows are also alternating. So we can expect a double-sided arrow in our answer. So for question 3, it cannot be B or D or E considering that. And then we're looking at the way that the shape is facing. So given that it's rotating, that is 45 degrees anti-clockwise each time, it cannot be A and it will be C. Okay, question 4. We can see that the pattern of the lines is changing. So instead of moving from bottom left to top right, it's moving in the opposite direction and it's alternating between each shape. So we can expect it to be moving this way in our answer. So given that, we know that the answer cannot be will not be B or E. Okay. And then we're looking at the black dot. So it's changing from white to black in each time, so it cannot be A. And then we're looking at how the black dot is also moving one place each time, so we can expect it to be at the bottom. So knowing that, the answer is D. Okay, now we're going to move on to question 5. Okay, so for question 5, we can see that the line is changing its direction, so it will be facing this way in our answer. So that means that it could be any of them, okay? And then the star is also changing height. So in our answer, we can expect the star to be at the top. So there's the top, and there's this point, and there's here, and then the bottom. So we can expect it to be at the top, so it cannot be D or E. Okay, now we are looking at the side that the star is on, so we can see it's alternating from right to the left to the right to the left, so we know that it will be on the left, so we can rule out B. Then we're looking at the stripes, so they go from horizontal to vertical, so they will be vertical. So the answer is C. Okay, question 6. So for question 6, we can see that the number of dots are increasing by 1 each time. So given that that is the case, we can see it goes 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So this time it will be 6. So it cannot be A, nor can it be C or E. And now we're looking at the position. So we can see that there are consistently 3 on the side. So B is the answer. Then for question 7, we can see that there are 5 diamonds at the top, and there's gradually 1 diamond moving to the bottom in each shape. So we can expect 5 diamonds at the bottom with 1 at the top. So the answer is C. Next, we can see that in question 8, the shape is rotating 45 degrees clockwise each time. So the answer will be A. Okay, now we are going to be looking at page 5, which is here. So in page 5, we can see that the number of stars at the bottom is increasing by 1 each time, so it cannot be option A. And the star is moving, is reflecting each time, so it cannot be E. And then the number of lines in the middle is increasing by 1 each time, so there'll be 4, and that means that it's option D. Okay, question 10. We can see that the lines, the number of lines go from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what we can expect here is 3 lines. So it cannot be A, and it could be B. For C, this would be considered to be 1, 2, 3, 6 lines. Not D, and neither can it be E. So the answer will be B. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at question 11. So for question 11, we can see that the shape is going to be reflected in the y-axis each time. So it cannot be B or D. Then the line with the circle at the end is also moving. So in shape 1, it's in the bottom right, and then we can expect that in shape 2, it will be in the bottom left. Then shape 3, it's in the top left. Shape 4, it's moving again and again. Okay, so we can then rule out A, and now between these we're looking at the colours. So we can expect the colours to be with black at the top. Given that, the answer will be C. Okay, so for question 12, we can see that the number of dots on the lines are going to be increasing by 2 each time. So given that it's increasing by 2, it goes 1, 3, 5, and then 7. So this time we can expect 9. So it could be A, it can't be B, it can't be C. For D, no, and E, no. So A. Okay, question 13. So question 13 is looking at okay, so here we can see that the L shape is changing pattern. So it's moving from vertical to horizontal. It's moving from this orientation to this, and we can expect it to be like this one in our shape. So considering that, it cannot be A, B, or E. Okay, now we are looking at the pattern of the pattern of the shape at the bottom. So the shape at the bottom is always hashed, so it cannot be D. Okay, and that leaves our answer as C. So that is C, A, and C. Okay, next we are looking at the rotation of the shape in the top right, and we can see that it's rotating by 90 degrees in each shape. So in the next one we can expect it to be like this. So we can rule out C, D, or E. And then we're looking at the rotation of the shape in the bottom right. So we can go see that it goes plus, minus, and then the next will be plus. So it must be A. Okay, question 15, we can see that the dot is going to be at the second highest point, so it can't be A, C, or D. And then we can see that the point here in the top right is also rotating by 90 degrees each time, 90 degrees clockwise. So the answer will be B. Okay. Next is question 16. We can see that the two lines move from the top right to the top left, and that means that in our shape it will be in the top left, so it cannot be D, or yeah, it cannot be D. Okay, so now that we know that, we can also look at the hexagon. So the hexagon remains unchanged except for in the inside, where the white circle moves by 1 point each time, whereas the black dot moves by 2 each time, and both moving clockwise. So we can expect the white dot to be in the top right corner, so that will be the case in B. So the answer will be B. Next is question 17. So we can see that we have a grid of 4 by 6, then it goes to 4 by 4, then 4 by 3, and then it goes to 4 by 5. So this has a length of 6, this has a length of 4, this has a length of 3, and this has a length of 5. Okay, so knowing that, we don't actually know, the question hasn't actually given the place of the next shape. So there's not much we can do with this one, because we don't know what place it will be put in. So we can, though, just assume that it will be on the end. So what I'm going to do is just look at the black squares on the inside. Okay, we can see that the black squares are gradually moving upwards. So yeah, we can see that so we can see similarities in this area to here. So yeah, this question is quite difficult to answer given that there's no space here. But there's not much we can do about this one. Okay, so let's move on to question 18. So for question 18, that'll be here. So the arrow is moving 90 degrees anti-clockwise in each shape. So we can expect it to be here in the bottom right. So we can rule out C, D, and yeah, we can rule out C and D. Okay, so now we can be looking at the rectangle, so the placement of the rectangle. Now the rectangle moves and it will be on the left side, so we can rule out A. And then we're looking at the placement of the oval. So the oval is always is what our arrow is pointing to. So given that, it could still be both shapes. Okay. now we're looking at the pattern inside the rectangle. So from what we can see that in this shape it's slightly lighter, and you can see that it's gradually becoming denser with more dots being added. So given that, our answer would be E. Okay, so for question 19. For question 19, the shape is being rotated 45 degrees clockwise each time. So we can expect the line to be at the top, and that's the case in all of our options. We can expect the arrow to be pointing this way, and then we can expect our dot to be black. So we can rule out A and D. Now, we are looking at two very similar lines, except that in C it is slightly thicker. So, considering that, our answer would be B. Okay, now we are looking at a pattern of colour. Okay, so the shape is actually rotating by 90 degrees clockwise in each time. Other than that, there is nothing changing. So all we're looking is for the next rotation. We can expect there to be a black line here. Ooh. So with that, we can cross out A, B, and E. So now we are looking at differences within the shape. And when we look at that, we can cross out, which ones can we cross out? Well, we can cross out our option of D, and the answer will be C. Okay, now we're looking at the direction of the lines. So they go from, well, top left to bottom right, to horizontal, to here, and then vertical, and then here. So what we can expect next, given that it's moving 90 degrees or 45 degrees each time, would be a line that is horizontal. So if we're expecting a horizontal line, then the answer will be D. Okay, next we have 22. We're going to assume that it's asking for an answer here. So, oh no, it isn't. No, there's an empty space. It's asking for an answer here. Okay, so we can expect the white area to be at the bottom, which is the case in A, B, C, D, E. And then we can expect it to have a circle. So we can rule out B, C, and E. Then we're looking at the grey and black. So it's moving from grey on the left and black on the right to something else. So this seems to be going grey, black, black, grey, and then grey, black. So it will be a similar pattern at the top. So we have grey, black, black, grey. So we can assume that there'll be grey on the right. So with that, our answer would be D. Then 23. So we can see that the arrow is rotating. It's going 45 degrees. Oh no, it's going 90 degrees anti-clockwise in each shape. So given that, we can assume that, or we know that it will be facing this way. So with that, we can rule out B. B. Okay, now we're looking at the arrowheads. So our arrow will be like the arrow below it, except doubled. So that's the case here, and also in our other shapes. So we can expect two heads at the top, so we can rule out A and B. Now between D and E, we can see that our arrow has a line here. So that means that it wouldn't be E, and it would be D. Okay, now we have our last few questions for MVR. We can see that there are 2 lines in our first shape, and then these 2 lines also have 1 more line added. Okay, so we're going from 3 lines to 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So 3, 4, so we could assume 5 in ours maybe. And then there are, oh no, not quite 1, 2, there's 5 here. 5 here. 6 here. Okay, interesting pattern. So what we could assume here, because it's going 3, 4, and then something 5, 5, and then 6, is that we would have 4 lines. So we can see that here between the 2 5s, we can see that in this one they are crossing off that area. So we can expect 4 lines in full. So not A, although it has 4 lines. Neither can it be B, D, or E, so it would be B, because it's like our first 4 here, which looked like this, but he's then crossing it over. Okay, 25. So 25, we can see that there will be a rectangle at the top, which is the case in all of our questions, but then there will also be 2 lines. So because there are 2 lines, it cannot be B or D. And then we're also looking at the orientation, or the direction of the line going through the rectangle. So the line is rotating by 45 degrees each time. So 45 degrees clockwise, that is. So knowing that, we know that the line will be facing this way. And because of that, we can now rule out A and C and say our answer is E. Okay, 26. So 26, we're looking at the square in the middle where it is rotating by 45 degrees clockwise each time. So in this case, it will be like this. Okay, so now we know that, we can rule out A, B, C. It could be D and E. So our answer is D. So let's move to page 7. Page 7 will be up here. Okay, we're doing VR completing the calculation. Okay, so 23 plus... Okay, so what the key to this is to find the value on one side and then just follow the same rule on the other. So remember your BIDMAS. So 23 minus 16. I'll write this in black. So our 23 minus 16 will be equal to 7. And then we have to get the same value on the other side. So what we can do first, because it's 54 divided by something plus 1, we can do minus 1. So we know that we need to get a value of 6 from 54 divided by something. So we know that 54 divided by 9 is 6. So what we can do is then write 9 here, and then our answer is 54 divided by 9 plus 1, because 54 divided by 9 is 6, and then plus 1 will then be equal to 7. So this is just writing out our workings, and then that's our answer. So 28 divided by 4 minus 3. So let's find the value of that side. So 28 divided by 4. Well, 28 divided by 4 is the same as that's 7. 7 minus 3 is then 4, so it will have a value of 4. So what divided by 11 is 4? Well, you could do 11 times 4, which is equal to 44. Next, question 13. 14 plus 3 minus 5 is equal to 2 times something? Well, considering our bod mass, we do addition first, so 14 plus 3 is 17, minus 5 is 12. Oh, I'll just write this in black. And then 2 times something is 12, so the answer is 6. Now I'll write that in red. Okay, question 4. 16 times 4 is equal to 5 times 11 plus something. Well, 16 times 4, we can do the column method, but that equals to 64. And then 5 times 11 plus something is equal to 64. So we can do 5 times 11 first, which is 55. And then plus something is 64, so 64 minus 55. And now equal to 9. So the answer for question 4 is 9. Next is question 5. And for question 5, we're looking at 99 minus something, minus 71, which is equal to, well, 99 minus 71, that's 28. And then something times 6 minus 2 is equal to 28. So as we know, we always do multiplication first. So first we have to subtract 2. So that's 26. Yes, okay. So what we're looking at is the value that we have will subtract by 2. So what we have to do is add 2. So it'll be 30. Then something times 6 is 30. So then 30 divided by 6 is equal to 5. Okay, 20 times 5 minus 43 is equal to 8 times 8 minus something. Well, 20 times 5 minus 43 is the same as 100 minus 43, which is then equal to 57. And then 8 times 8 minus something is equal to 57. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 minus 7 is equal to 57. So the answer to our question will be 7. Okay, next is going to be question 7, where 35 plus 15, which is 50. So 35 plus 15 is 50, and then that divided by 5 is 10. And then, so, okay, if we write this out, it will be 50 divided by 5, which is 10. And then, because of bod mass, we have to add before we subtract. So it'll be 4. So yeah, we're basically doing 10 minus 4, which is 6. So both sides must equal to 6. 6. Okay, so then something times 2 will equal to 6. So what we're looking at here will be, or have we done something wrong? So we can see that, 2 times 2 is 4. 35 plus 15. So, okay. 35 plus 5 is 15. 15 divided by 5 is 10. 10 minus 3 plus 1. So we add, and that's 4. So it'll be 6. So something times 2 times 2. If I haven't gotten this correct. Well, it seems that, okay, well, the answer's been made without following bid mass, because it's expecting an answer of 2, but considering this, 2 times 2 times something equals 6, so what we're looking at is 1.5 would ideally be the answer. So yeah, 1.5 times 2 times 2. Okay. For 8. 48 divided by 4 plus 2 times 3 is equal to 2 times something times 3. Well, first we find what 2 times 3 is, which is 6. And then we do division before addition. So 48 divided by 4. Well, 48 divided by 4 is 12. So 12 plus 6 is 18. So take our 18 when we know that 2 times 3 times is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So the answer to 8 is 3. Okay. 3 times 11 is 33, plus 7 is 40. So then 15 times 2 is 30, plus something, which will be 10. Then we do multiplication before subtraction. So 10 times 8 is 80, minus 49. So 80 minus 49 is then 80 minus 49 is then equal to 31. So then we do 6 times something, minus 11. So 31 plus 11 is equal to 42. And then 6 times something, well, equals 42. So 42 divided by 6, well, we know that that's 7. 6 times 7 is 42. So the answer will be 7. Next, let's find question page 8. That's here. So rearrange the words. So in the following questions, you are given 2 words. Choose one letter that can be moved from one word on the left to the word on the right, making 2 new words. You cannot rearrange any letters, but the letter that you move can fit anywhere in the second word. So for question 1, we have probe and rove. So what we're going to have here is robe and prove. So it will be robe and prove. So we can write prove here. I'll just reduce my font size for this one. Okay, then we have fright and fiends. So here we're going to have fight and then friends. Okay, and then we have waiter and bran. So we're going to have water. Well, I won't write the water, but we'll have brain. And then we have scoot and hopped. So this one will be soot and chopped. And then shame and trough. This will have same and through. Then we have dream and wed. So we're going to have dram and weed. Then for 7, we have shave and park. So shave and park, we are going to have spark. Then cream and trip. Cream and trip, we are going to have cram and tripe. So tripe will be the answer. Naive and lead will be, or we'll have knave and lied. Pleat and mow, we will have Pete and model, so model. Could and bond will have bound. Lived and alley will have valley. For packed and lined, we are going to have paste and linked. Then latter and mill, we have metal. For Nash and door, we'll have donor. For blind and ease, we'll have lease. Chain and bet will have beat. Rebel and Del will have real and stable. For pitch and rave, we'll have pith and crave. PS. Okay, so comprehension GPS. So let's read the extract. For hundreds of years, people have used paper maps to help them travel to different places. Using maps, people can learn distances, directions, and the location of landmarks such as rivers or mountains. While these traditional maps have served people well, a new kind of map is rapidly superseding them. A new invention called GPS, or Global Positioning System, is being used more and more in place of traditional paper maps. GPS uses satellite technology to provide information about present location and a desired destination. To better understand how it works, imagine that Travis is lost. Using GPS, Travis can see where he is and what is nearby. What is more, GPS can tell him the fastest way to get to the place he wants to go. As you can see, GPS can be very handy. This is why GPS is now being included on cell phones and in cars. With such easy access to GPS, lots of people no longer need to use maps. Some people even argue that reading paper maps is a skill that should not be taught anymore in school. They say the skill will be useless in the future. This is a dangerous way of thinking. Saying that reading traditional maps should not be taught anymore is like saying that because people can type on keyboards, no one needs to learn to write with a pen. When people become too dependent on technology, they become lazy. They do not have to think or solve problems for themselves. It is still very important that we know how to read paper maps. We can't simply trust a device. What will we do if one day it stops working? So let's find page 13. Page 13 is here. Okay, so according to the passage, people can use maps to learn 1. Distances, 2. Directions, 3. Locations. So we know that, this is the case, and all 3 of them are true. So, as used in paragraph 1, the word superseding most nearly means changing, renewing, replacing, defeating. This will be replacing. In paragraph 2, the author writes, to better understand how it works, imagine that Travis is lost. The purpose of this sentence is to introduce an example, argue a point, propose an idea, or make a conclusion. This would be A. Introduce an example. The author apparently believes that becoming too dependent on technology is crazy and idiotic, frightening and unwise, silly and careless, or lazy and foolish. So this would be silly and careless. What would it actually? Looking again, not crazy and idiotic, not really frightening and wise. No, it would be D. Lazy and foolish, because he says that humans will become lazy if they do not solve their own problems. So now we are going to be looking at, based on its use in the final paragraph, it can be understood that device belongs to which word group. So science, maths, history, not quite. Those are school subjects. Construction, formation, creation, these are all synonyms. Not quite. Automobile, machine, vehicle, kind of, but not really. Gadget, tool, instrument, it will be gadget, tool, instrument. And then the author apparently believes that learning to read paper maps should be taught in school, will be useless in the future, is more important than learning to type, or is less important than learning how to use the GPS. So we can see that in the final paragraph they do discuss this. It is still very important that we know how to read them. So what we can see from that is that the answer would be, not quite B, not C, but it would be A because it says that apparently, so we're inferring. Then page 14 is here. Okay, so 14. On the line. It was late in the second half and the scoreboard spoke to us and declared we were losing. It stared each of us in the face, announcing home 44, visitors 56, with 5 minutes left in the game. Coach Santiago called a timeout. We all huddled up. I need you all to dig deep inside of you and find that extra motivation, he told us. Whatever it is that inspires you, whoever it is that inspires you, think about that. Bring it with you on the court and play for that thing or that person. But remember our common goal. It's on the line right now, and we can still win. This was Coach Santiago's usual inspirational speech. He didn't tell us what to think about because he knew that each of us had our own beliefs, our own heroes, and our own inner strength. But he also knew that each of us were motivated by the same thing, winning. But there was something different in the way Coach Santiago gave us this speech at that moment. Something in his voice sounded desperate, as though something more than the game was on the line. It was the biggest game of the season. A win meant we would go to the state tournament in Atlanta. But it sounded like it mattered even more to Coach Santiago. We went back on the floor. Me, Sullivan, Jackson, Hernandez, and Odd Whaley. I don't know what they were thinking about, but I was thinking about my grandfather. He wasn't in the stands, but I knew he was watching. On the first possession, I shot a three-pointer in. We stopped the opponents on the other end, then Hernandez made a layup. The next possession, Odd Whaley got a steal and passed it to Jackson for an easy layup. Our 12-point deficit had turned into a 5-point one. The opponents made a jump shot on the next possession, but I hit another three-pointer. Then we stopped them again, and Jackson made a jump shot. With 20 seconds left, the opponents missed one more shot. I dribbled up the court and passed the ball to Sullivan, who passed it back to me. With 3 seconds left, I shot a three, it missed, and the game was over. Coach Santiago huddled us up one last time. I am proud of each of you, he said. You left it on the line, and I know each of you crossed that line individually. I didn't understand what he meant then. I was too disappointed in my own defeat. Years later, though, it had started to make sense to me. So, in paragraph 1, the passage makes use of which of the following literary devices? Okay, so personification characterized by the attribution of human traits, foreshadowing, repetition, or a metaphor. So here we can see that in paragraph 1, the answer to this will be and we declared we were losing. So it says here that the scoreboard spoke to us, so it will be personification. Okay. Question 2. As used in paragraph 3, the word desperate most nearly means, well, the answer to this one will be very serious. And then question 3. According to the passage, why was the game being played so important? So the answer to this will be a win would make the team eligible to play in the state tournament in Atlanta. Question 4. Which of the following statements best describes this passage? So that would be the narrator uses a basketball loss to explain An important life lesson he learned from his coach. Yep, it would be that. And then question 5 on the title is on the line, and it refers to each of the following in the passage except, so we're trying to find what is not true. A source of inspiration, yeah. A speech, yeah. A very serious risk of losing, yeah. Part of the basketball court, no. So it's okay. Proofreading. Identify the spelling mistakes. So during the summer term, Year 6 pupils take a trip to the seaside for an environmental studies week. So this one is going to be seaside because it should be spelled by Seaside. So replace the second D with an A. Okay. Then, following this, it is quite a long journey in the coach, and sometimes people suffer from travel sickness. So travel should be spelled with one L. So Travel. 3. Don't think about staying in a hotel, as this is an outdoor camping trip. You'll have to assemble. This one has no spelling mistakes. No spelling mistakes for this one. 4. Your own tents. There is no television and radios. Computer games and personal stereos. Stereos is incorrect. So Stereos are not allowed. Allowed should be spelled as Allowed. The meals are prepared on camp stoves by teachers and children, and the children will assist with the washing up afterwards. It's not all fun and games. The trip is supposed to be educational, so it's spelled Suppposed. 7. And there are worksheets to be completed every day. You do get to work on the beach, looking. So beach is BACH. For seashells, crabs, and interesting pebbles. It's a great way to improve your general knowledge. Okay, 8. So this one is a passage. Or no. Okay, David's apparent lack of sympathy for his opponent was criticised by the journalist. Should be spelled JOURNALIST. Journalist. 9. The queue for tickets for the concert snaked all the way around the back of the building. This one has no spelling mistakes. 10. Most of the protesters blame the government for failing to act swiftly enough. So this will be government, GOVERNMENT. So you need to add an N in between the R and the M. 11. The importance of signs and symbols in early societies cannot be underestimated. So SYMBOLS. Okay, next. Punctuation. So, if Joe managed to pass the exam, his father promised to buy him a new game. So, if Joe managed to pass the exam, comma, because you're separating the clauses. His father promised to buy him a new game. Okay, 2. The colourblind dog couldn't differentiate between the red and blue and green shades. Okay. So the hyphen in between colour and blind is okay. So it's not that. Couldn't differentiate between the red, blue and green shades. Okay, this will be... So you could have a colon after between, because then you're listing. So the colourblind dog couldn't differentiate between the red. So after the, if I just zoom out, So after the, you can add a colon. So the colorblind dog couldn't differentiate between the red, blue, and green shades. No. After between the red, blue, and green shades. Okay. 3. All of her delicately constructed decorations were suddenly lying in ruins. So this one, all of her delicately constructed decorations were suddenly lying in ruins. So you're not going to... Okay. So this one you're going to have a comma after decorations and... yeah. Okay, yeah, so a comma after decorations. So all of delicately constructed decorations were suddenly lying in ruins. 4. Bags of rice, sacks of potatoes, and baskets of cauliflowers were transported to the town. Okay, well, this one is going to be, well, town should have a lowercase t, but this is punctuation. So you could add a semicolon. Bags of rice, sacks of potatoes, and baskets of cauliflowers, semicolon, were transported to the town. Yes. Or just comma. And this should be lowercase t. So, 5. The sunset over the banks of the river should be lowercase r. Yeah, the river. As the swallows chirped cheerfully. This one... Or in fact, for the last one, this has no punctuation errors. No, but that should be lowercase t, so none. River, this one also has none. And that should be lowercase r. Okay, all of the students had arrived late, but only one was punished by the cruel teacher. Well, students shouldn't have an apostrophe afterwards. It should have, well, nothing, because you're just using the plural for a student, so more than one student. The boys' father, Edgar, was known in the village as an honest and upright citizen. Well, this one is going to be the boy's father, Edgar, comma, boy's father, Edgar, was known in the village as an honest and upright citizen. 8. I have made up my mind and you can't change it now, declared Paula. So this needs a full stop after her dialogue. Then we move on to 9. Tom didn't win the race. Nevertheless, comma, he was content with his performance. 10. I can't believe you're doing this. There are much better solutions to this problem. Full stop between this and there. 11. The rain cloud gradually covered the entire town, growing larger and larger. This one... gradually covered the entire town, growing larger and larger. It should be a comma here instead. I think should have an apostrophe, rather not get involved in this dispute as it doesn't concern her. Okay. 13. The premiere of the latest blockbuster, which is due to start in the next few minutes, promises a glamorous affair. We've already seen the cast arrive. We're just so instead of a colon, that should be a semicolon. We're just waiting for the movie's director, Esmeralda Blingley. The atmosphere is electric. That can have an exclamation mark. 16. So tick the box next to the option that is punctuated incorrectly. So the one where the punctuation is wrong. So A, the new cafe dash Maggie's tea room dash is now finally open. B, after the storm, you'll have to rake up the leaves in Grandad's garden. C, it's the book I've wanted for months, exclaimed Will excitedly. And D, Megan, who was an avid fan, made her way to the rugby stadium. Okay, so first we're going to look at what's correct. So here we know, well, A is correct. B could have a comma after the storm. C is correct and D is. So with that, the answer will be B. Okay, next we're doing best word. So, question 1. Ellie launched the ball into the air and watched it for something split second before racing to first base. It was summer, and that meant rounders, a game which not all pupils enjoyed. So, and watched it for the split second, watched it for and split second, this split second, a split second, or that split second. It'll be watched it for a split second. So watched it for a split second. So that'll be option D. Next. So, a game which not all pupils enjoyed, something of all the green team, because they always seem to lose. Perhaps the other teams had Velcro attached to their hands or superhuman vision, even in bright sunlight. So this will be which not all pupils enjoyed most of all the green team. Because they always seem to lose, perhaps the other teams had Velcro attached to their hands or superhuman vision, even in bright sunlight. Something, they never failed to pull off miraculous catches and thunderous strikes of the ball. Unless they never failed to pull off, because they never failed to pull off, whereas they never failed to pull off, although they never failed to pull off, while they never failed to pull off. So, this one. So, first we need to look at who it's describing. So, through the context, we know that it's talking about other teams. So, the other teams had Velcro attached to their hands. And they think that, so it's not going to be unless, not going to be whereas, not although, and it's while they, no, not while, so it's going to be B, because they never failed to pull off miraculous catches and thunderous strikes of the ball. Okay, 4. The green team, something, their previous round of batting, feeling disheartened, having only managed to score 3.5 rounders compared to the yellow team's 6. So, the green team were finishing their previous round, will finish their previous round, finished their previous round, are finishing their previous round, had finished their previous round. So here we can see that it's talking in past tense. So this one is going to be where it's talking in the like that mixture between past and present. So it's going to be like in between both. So it's going to be okay, so first we're going to cross out what it can't be. So it still could be the green team were finishing. It's not will finish, it's not finish, and it's not are finishing. So for this one, it is had finished their previous round of batting, so it's E. Okay, 5. What they needed now was a moment, something, inspiration, and maybe, just maybe, L could provide that. Or Ellie. Go, Ellie, go. Yes, you can do it all the way. The encouragement lifted Ellie's spirits as she sprinted from first to second base. So this one is that they need what they now needed was a moment of inspiration. So not moment to inspiration, moment at, moment with, moment in. It's moment of inspiration. Okay. 6. So as she sprinted from first to second base, hardly something to believe that she might get all the way around. Hardly daring, hardly to dare, hardly having dared, hardly without daring, hardly. So here we know that she's sprinting very quickly from first to second base. So this one is going to be hardly without daring to believe that she, or hardly. So it's saying that she hardly is not daring. So hardly without daring means that she is confident that she will, that she is daring to believe that she'll go all the way around. So this one will be that she was running hardly without daring to believe. Yeah, because if she said that she was hardly daring to believe it, then she would be unconfident. Or no. So this will be hardly daring to believe that she would get all the way around. 7. The ball, and that's because like the green team is known to do bad, so that's why it's that. 7. The ball something a long time to finally descend, but when it did, the green team's expressions of excitement turned to horror as they spotted the tallest boy in. Okay, so the ball took a long time to finally descend. The ball took a long time. Okay. The tallest boy in their year, there as in possessive, standing directly beneath it, watching, waiting. However, the tension soon gave way to laughter, not cruel, mocking laughter, but genuine disbelief. As soon as Ellie reached fourth base, she turned and looked to see what was going on. There it was, a bird with the ball in its beak. Round her, the umpire shouted. When the yellow team protested, the umpire simply smiled and said, "Well, the bird's not officially on your team, is it?" Question mark. There. And that is proofreading. So work out 983 plus 254. So we can use column method for this. That'll be 983, 254. 3 plus 4 is 7. 8 plus 5 is 13. And then that's 12. So the answer is 1,237. Okay, now just making some space. 573 times 300, so 573, 300. So first you multiply by 0, and that will be 0, 0, 0, extra 0, 0, 0, 0, 2 zeros, and then 3 times 3 is 9, 7 times 3 is 21, 5 times 3 is 15. So we get the answer of I see where we just quickly cross this out. Carry the 2. I got a bit carried away with that one. And our answer will be 17190. Okay, so the answer will be 171,900. Okay. Next is, right, 7 over 20 is decimal, so 7 over 20, we're going to put it over 100, and we're multiplying by 5. So it'll be 35 over 100, 35 over 100, so we move the decimal places back twice, and it'll be 0.35. Okay, what fraction of the day is 9 hours? And write it in the simplest form. So that'll be 9 over the total, which is 24 hours, and then we simplify. So we can divide both by 3. So you get 3 over 8. And that'll be the answer, 3 over 8. What is the missing decimal number in this list? Okay, so 2.7, and then we have 4.3, the number 7.5, and then 9.1. So we find the difference here. So we can see that 2.7 plus 1.6, so 1.6, and then we can see 7.5 to 9.1 is also 1.6. So 4.3 plus 1.6 will be equal to 5.9. And then our answer will be 5.9. So then we're doing 4 1/4 plus, minus 1 3/5. So 4 1/4, and we're going to put it as a top-heavy fraction. So that's equivalent to, 16 plus 1, which is 17 over 4, minus 5, and then 8 over 5. And then this is then going to be both put over 20. So 4 times 5 is 20, so 17 times 5 is equal to 85. 5 times 4 is 20, so 8 times 4 is 32. And then this gives the answer of, 85 minus 32 is equal to 53. So then we take the 53 and that will be our answer. But then we can also put it into a mixed fraction because that's how it was given to us. So that will be 2, because it's 2 times 20 is 40, and 13 over 20. Okay, work out 6.48 divided by 0.6, writing your answer as a decimal number. Okay, so 6.48 divided by 0.6, so what we can do is 648, and then divide it by 60. Okay, so now what you can do is, you have 1 here for that, 0, and what we're looking at will be, 0 here, and then how many 60s in 480, and this will have a decimal here. Well, we know that 8 60s going to 480, so the answer will be 10.8. Okay, subtract the difference between 62 and 35 and from the product of 13 and 16. Okay, so we need to firstly find the difference between 62 and 35, and then the product of 13 and 16. So the product of 13 and 6 will be 78, and then we're finding the difference. Oh no, the product. Okay, so what we got to do is we are going to take, so different. Okay, so first we're going to find the product of 13 and 6. So what we're going to do first is going to be multiplying 13 and 6. So 13 times 6, we can do column method. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 6 is 6, so that'll be 78. So that's 78 there. And then that's subtracting the difference between 62 and 35. So 62 minus 35 is 27. And now we find the difference. 78 minus 27 is equal to 51. And that means that our answer is 51. So 51. Okay, one of the triangles in one of the angles in triangle is 40 degrees, and the other remaining angles, two angles, is 3 times larger than the other angle. So, what is the largest angle in the triangle? Okay. So we know that there is a 40-degree angle, and we know that there is 180 degrees in a triangle, so 180 minus 40 will equal to 140. And then we know that one of the remaining two angles is 3 times larger than the other, so 3 plus 1, because that's the scale, so 3 to 1 is equal to 4. And then 140 divided into 4 is 35. So 35 will be the smallest, but then the largest will be 35 times 3, which is equal to 105. So the answer to question 9 will be 105 degrees. Question 10. The shop reduces its prices by 20% in sale. David bought a coat for £40 in the sale. So how much would the coat have cost him before? So if the price was reduced by 20%, we know that 40% is 80%. No, £40 is the equivalent of 80%. So 10% will be 40 divided by 8. So 40 divided by 8 is equal to £5. So then 100% is then equal to that £5 multiplied by 50. So the answer to question 10 will be £50. Now question 11. Nigel folds a square piece of paper in half to give a rectangle which has a perimeter of 36 centimetres. So what's the area of the original square? Okay, so we know that the perimeter of 36 must consist of, well, 2 lengths here, which are double the length. So you could almost consider this as a 2x, this is x, x, and 2x. So how are we going to find the area of the original square is by finding the initial lengths. So we know that, this 2x plus 2x plus x plus x is like doing 6x, because you're adding them all together. And that must equal to 36. So then x is equal to 6. So what we've got to do with that is, well, we're taking the 6, and we know that the 6 is the length of half. So 12, well, 2x is 12, and that's the length of the original, the original, one side of the original square. So the area would be 12 times 12, which is 144. Okay, question 12. Rachel buys 3 identical bags of sweets and 5 cans of drink. The total costs £4.90, and then Rosie buys just 1 bag of sweets and 3 cans and pays £2.70. So what's the cost of a bag of sweets? Okay, so how we can do this is we can write out a method. So 3 sweets and 5 cans costed £4.90, and then 1 bag of sweets and 3 cans will be £2.70. So what we can do here is we can make the values the same, or we can find the difference. Okay, so if 3 sweets and 5 cans costed £4.90 and 1 sweet and 3 cans costed £2.70, we can multiply this equation by 3, meaning that 3 sweets plus 9 cans will equal to, well, £2.70 times 3, which is £8.10. And then we know that 3 sweets plus 9 cans is £8.10, and three sweets plus 5 cans is £4.90. So if we know that, and then what we can do is we take out values. We know that 9 cans plus the 3 sweets is £8.10. We know that 5 cans plus the 3 sweets is £4.90. So all we have to do here is find what 4 cans is, which is the difference, which will then be £8.10 minus the 4.9, which is £3.20. And then what we can do is we can find the price of 1 can, which will then be £3.20 divided by 4, which is 80p. And now that we know that, we can substitute it into what we know. So if 1 can is 80p, well, we can do 3 times the 80p, which is £2.40, and take this equation, and then we know that £2.40 plus the sweets is equal to £2.70, so 30p will be the answer. So the price of 1 bag of sweets is 30p. Now I'll just clear out some space. Okay, and Tim has 3 apples. The average weight of the apples is 90 grams. And then when Tim eats the largest apple, the mean weight of the remaining 2 is 70 grams. So what's the weight of the largest one? So if the average weight of 3 is 90 grams, and then when he eats the largest, it's reduced to 70. Okay. So how we're going to find this is we're going to identify what mass must have been added in order to divide by 3 to get 90. So first we have to do 90 times 3. And that is equal to 270. So the mean weight of the remaining was 70, so that was 140, because 70 times 2 equals 140. Then you do 270 minus 140, and that is equal to 130. So the answer is 130 grams. Okay, in the sequence of numbers which starts 2, 3, 5, 9, which 2, 3, 5, 9, each number is 1 less than 2 times of the previous number. Okay? And then what is the number immediately before 257? So we got to remember that 257 is 1 less than 2 times its previous number. So it's 1 less than 2 times of it. So 2 times of the previous number must have been 258. And then the previous number must have been 258 divided by 2. So we take out 258, divided by 2 is equal to 129. And that's the answer. Okay, question 15. A plant is growing at a steady rate of 0.2 centimeters every day, and at midday on the 19th of January, it was 6 centimeters high. So what will the date be when it reaches 11 centimeters? So, if it was 6 centimeters on the 19th of January, we know that it still has 5 centimeters to grow. So if we divide that 5 centimeters into 0.2s, we know that that will then be like doing 50 divided by 2, which is 25. So 5 divided by 0.2 is 25. So that means that it will take 25 days. So now we have to add 25 days onto the 19th of January. So we know that January has 31 days. So first we can do 31 minus the 19. So 31 minus 19 is 12. So that's 12 out of the 25. So then 25 minus 12, well, that is 13. So the answer will be the 13th of February. And you can just write that as 13th of February. Make sure that you write the full name, and then because it could be misunderstood, or any errors could take place. Maybe your Feb doesn't look like Feb, and don't write 13/2 because that may be unclear. So then, question 16. A bag contains coloured counters of just 2 colours. There are 20 green counters numbered 1 to 20, and 30 blue counters numbered 1 to 30. What is the probability of picking a counter from the bag which is a multiple of 4? Okay, so what we're doing is, we know that there are 2 colours, 20 green, numbered 1 to 20, and 30 blue. And now we're looking at the probability that it's a multiple of 4. So between 1 and 20, the numbers that are multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And then going on to 30, that will then be 24 and 28. So we know that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers come up twice. So that'll be 5 times 2, which is 10. And then the 10 plus 2 equals 12. So the answer to question 16 will then be, it'll be 12 over the 50. But then we can simplify that to 6 over 25. So the answer is 6 over 25. Okay, I'll just clear up some space. Okay, Laths Engineering produces 10 boxes of screws every minute. So 10 boxes every minute. It has to produce 48,000 boxes in 5 days. If its machines work an equal amount of time each day, work out the number of hours which will be needed each day. Okay, so 48,000 is equivalent to how many minutes? Okay, so first we can find the scale. It's like doing 10 multiplied by 4,800. So it will take 4,800 minutes. Then what we need to do is 4,800 minutes and divide it into 60 because it's looking at how many hours will need to be worked each day within the 5 days. So now what we need to do is divide by 5 first. So 48,000 divided by 5, or 4,800 divided by 5 is 960. And then we do 960 divided by 60 minutes. Because 960 minutes will need to be worked each day, and that equals to, 1, and then remainder 36, and then 6, so 16 hours. And that is the answer to question 17. Okay, now the final 3 questions. At Frantic Junction, trains arrive at regular intervals on 3 different lines. On the line from A-Town, the train arrives every 15 minutes. B-Ville is 12, Seaford is 8, and at 10 a.m. a train from each town arrives. So now we're looking for the lowest common multiple between 3 numbers, 12, 15, and 8. Okay, so considering that it's 15, they'll all be, they'll all end in 5 or 0. So we'll go 15, 30, 45. Now we can be noting which of these fall into a multiple of 8. Okay, 45 minutes. Okay, I'm thinking, 60. That does not fall into 8. 120 would though. Does 120 fall into 8? Yes, it does. 8 times 15 is 120. 10 is 120. So that will be the next time after 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. So 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Okay, our fan has 6 fraction cards there. Write down the possible way which you can add 3 or more to get 1 over 2. Okay, so to get 1 over 2, he can add, well, he could add a quarter to a sixth to a 12th. That could work. Yeah, because that's like doing 3/12 plus 2/6 plus 1/12. Oh no, plus 12. And then that's like 6/12, which is a half. Okay, so that's the answer. 1 over 4 plus 1 over 6 plus 1 over 12. Okay, question 20, the final question. 83 is a prime number. If Nancy reverses the order of the digits, she gets 38, which is not prime. Okay. How many 2-digit primes do give a different prime number when their digits are reversed? Okay, so we need to write out all of the 2-digit prime numbers. Okay, so this will be 1, 2, 4. Okay, so prime numbers. We're looking at, well, this will be 11. 11 will give a reversed prime number. 13 will give 31, so that's 2. 14, 15, 16, 17 will also give 71. So this is 3 now. And then 18, 19 will also give 91. Is 91 prime? No, it isn't. So 19 isn't one of our numbers. 20, 21, 22, 23. No, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. No, 30, 31. 31 could count. 71 could count as well then. And then we also have 33, 34, 35, 37, 37 and 73. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So 11 will not count because it doesn't give a different number. So then we're going to have 79 and 97. And that is all of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is the answer. Okay, so that is everything for Summer School 5. Thank you very much for watching. You've been with Ethan, and yeah, have a great day.